Morning, everyone. Just going to give everyone a few minutes to join. Hope we're all right this morning. I think see a few of you joining. Lots of meeting recorders as well. So I'll just give everyone another minute, just till a minute past, and then make sure everyone's joined and we can get started. Hope you can all hear me and see my screen there as well for today's session on Xero price rising. Morning, Amy, Max, a few others popping in the chat there. Is my screen coming through okay there, Amy? Can everybody see that? Hoping so. Yeah, fab. Right. So yeah, we're just on 1 minute past. I think a few more might be starting to join in. So, but we will get started. It's got a lot to cover today. So today's session is going to be all about the Xero price increases. For those of you that I might not have met or had sessions with, my name's Si. I look after our support and customer onboarding and success at Socket. And due to a few people being on holiday at the moment, I'm going to be running through this session today with you. So just to start off, a bit of an agenda of what's going to go on. We're going to speak about Xero fees increasing, what's changing on the 1st of September, and our 3 simple steps in Socket to help you get ready for that. We then will do a live demo where I'll take you through what all that looks like from our 3 steps, and then any questions you might have as well. Do feel free to pop them in the chat or in the Q&A throughout the session. And we can either answer them at the end if it's anything complicated, or I think Amy might be able to jump on and give you a few answers to those as we're going through. So today we are going to be looking in this sort of Socket cycle that we've got here. We're going to be focusing on the pricing, the price monitoring, and also the billing management side of things as well. So the bits we cover today sit in those 3 categories. Now, what we found out recently is Xero price changes are now annual. So every year we're expecting them to go up. Sometimes we're absorbing those fees, sometimes we're passing them on to the clients. But what we found with a lot of our Socket clients is this can be a bit inconsistent. Now, the idea that we are hoping to put across to you today is keeping your Xero costs separate from any practice fees. This way, clients can see that those charges have gone up, so therefore prices are going up. It means come September, when Xero decide they're putting everything up by £1 or £2, your margin's going to be protected. And then when you're also reporting on it, you can clearly see where these increases have, and it removes all of these awkward fee conversations. I know a lot of the sessions I've done with you have focused on our minor adjustments, which allow you to increase certain lines throughout the client's life cycle of their proposal. And that's what we're going to focus on, but on a bulk basis today. So what's changing? Hopefully these numbers are up to date and they haven't changed their mind again, but all of the different Xero packages are going to be going up £2, £5 per subscription per month. It might not seem like much if you've only got a few customers, but it does all add up throughout the year. If we look at an example here, if we had 150 clients, each one of them is going up to £5 per client per month. We're adding up to, £3,500 to £9,000 a year. And then next September, we'll have another price rise, and it could be the same again. It could be more, it could be less. But what you'll find is this just builds up and builds up over time. I know a conversation we had at some of the, if we did catch any at the Xero road shows last year, I was speaking to one client who was telling me that they lost somewhere like £10,000 the previous year because they didn't increase the Xero prices for their clients. And it's very difficult to see how much it is going to be and then actually manage it as well. So the idea here in Socket is that we are going to update it, preview it, and then apply it. So what we can do is we can download our Xero invoice. We can, we're going to bulk update the fees in our pricing menu so we can change where Xero prices have gone up. We can then preview it using price monitoring, which I know a lot of you will be using already. Some of you might not be using and might not know what it's for, and that'll be a useful one for you today. And this will allow us to view our current pricing versus future pricing as well and identify any gaps. And then we can roll out that we can roll out that increase in bulk when we know that the Xero pricing is going up, so that everybody gets a notification to say your pricing's going up and it sits in line with Xero's price increase. So the idea that I suppose I want you to take from today is having all your clients on Socket is essential in this. I know if you're a new user to Socket, it might be that you're tiering in, putting these clients onto the system. But the problem you're going to have is any clients you haven't got on Socket, you don't have this insight, and therefore you can't accurately know where they're at with the charges and where they need to be with these Xero price increases. If you haven't got all your clients on Socket, do reach out to us in support, because we do have a lot of onboarding tools now that can help you with getting these clients from other systems, whether you've moved from Go Proposal, from Ignition, from Engager, from anywhere. We can help you with getting all of that client data on, so you're going to get the most out of these tools. If you part way there, fab, as I mentioned there, getting all your clients, getting billing set up, that's something we can help you quite substantially with now. And, we're more than happy to do that to help you get this insight. So your 3 steps, and that's what we are going to go through today, is obviously you'll have your clients in already. I've got them in on my demo account. We're then going to go through and we're going to update our pricing menu. So this is going to be in our settings. We're going to increase the Xero prices. Apologies that mine aren't in line with what the actual Xero costs are, but you'll be able to see from what we're going to do how that works. We're then going to look at our price monitoring tool, and we can preview our new price monitoring. We can preview our new pricing update that we've just done in step 1 using price monitoring. And I'll also show you where you can then upload any Xero subscription charges into there, so you've got that data visible to you. And then we're going to go into our proposals and we're going to do a bulk adjustment. And this bulk adjustment, for those of you that have been doing minor adjustments, allows you to do loads and loads of minor adjustments at once. So instead of sitting and changing 300 different clients in one by one, we can just do it in one simple go. What you can then do afterwards is when the first new Xero invoice comes in after the changes on the 1st of September, we can then recheck our price monitoring, upload a new report with all the new charging information, and make sure everything's where it needs to be. So let's have a look at a demo so we can go through this together. So hopefully you can now all see my my Socket demo account here. I'm just on the price monitoring screen at the moment, but I'm going to come away from this. So we're going to first go into our settings, and then we're going to go and locate our current active pricing menu. Some of you might have a draft one. That's okay if you do. A draft one might be one that we're working on, but I've just got the one here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to create a new pricing menu, and I'm going to copy from my existing pricing. So this tells us here it's useful if we're looking to line up some future pricing tweaks. So I'm going to hit copy pricing menu, and I'm going to clone the existing one I've got there. And then I'm going to call this Xero price changes September 2026. And I'm going to choose to have it take effect a point in the future. And as we're in August now, I'm going to default so it takes place from September onwards. And when we click add pricing menu, what we'll now see is it's just a total copy of the one that we've already created and had published. We're going to go down and find our software. I've only got Xero and Dext, so I'm going to choose Xero, and I'm going to edit this driver, and there's my current pricing. So let's put that up to 30. We'll put Ignite up to 40, and we'll put our Ultimate up to 65. So we're increasing by £2 or £5. It might be that that's the only packages I do, but you might have a few more. Then we're going to hit update. And that's now updated this new pricing menu. So all I need to do finally is hit publish. And it says there, I'm getting ready to publish this menu. It'll take effect from the 1st of September, which is when I want it to take effect. We hit publish and done. And what you can see is I've now, for just about a week, I'm going to have 2 active pricing menus. I've got the one if I create one today, and I've got the one that'll take effect in September, because we can see from that little calendar icon. And that's now ready to go. So if we now move over to our price monitoring, I've got some data in here already. Some of you might have not set this up, but just to give you a quick little run through of how it works. So here's my current clients that I've got active. And if I click Analyze Pricing, I can bring data in from a number of different sources. I can bring it in just to run through this with you from BrightPay Payroll. I can connect Xenon, Connect, and Dext to bring in metric data. I can upload my own metric data. And then most importantly for the session today is we can upload Xero subscription charges. We can also do QuickBooks as well, but obviously we're focusing on this one today. So I'm going to click upload just there, and I'll upload my brand new spreadsheet. Now, the one section you can do at the top here is you can compare pricing to today or compare it to September 26 as well. So where I've just produced my new pricing menu, I can also compare my current pricing versus my future pricing that I'm just about to publish. So when I then click run analysis, it does a little analysis in the background based on the data that I've chose to bring in. And then if clients have not got any data, such as they might not have Xero subscription, it might come up with missing data or no data. That's okay. And then with any others, we can see the pricing impact that's showing there as an amount and as a percentage. So when we look in there, it might give us data from this one has got no Xero subscription, so it might say missing data. But the ones we're specifically looking for is the ones that say overcharging. So we can see where we might be overcharging certain clients. So if I click into here, it might be that on their current proposal, we are charging them £50, but their actual Xero subscription only is for £39. So straight away, I'm overcharging that client from the Xero subscription data, which it might be that there's a reason for that. It might be that we are bundling that in with some other package, so it might need fixing slightly. However, the ones we're specifically looking for is the undercharging ones. So right here for Skytrain Aviation Limited, on their proposal, they are paying me £50, but Xero are actually charging us for them £53. So that's an ideal example of where we might have missed that increase last year. So that's ones we maybe need to keep an eye on. But again, price monitoring is something we can do at any time, and it's going to give us this insight into whether we're undercharging or overcharging clients. We're just looking at Xero pricing today, but obviously things like your metric data from Xenon and Dext, those are also really useful ways of checking other pricing. You can see in the chat there, Amy has just popped in some help guides as well for updating your pricing menu that we've covered, and also using price monitoring if there's anything you want to watch back. But now the all-important one is doing the bulk price increase. So to do this, we're going to navigate to our proposals screen. We've got all of our draft proposals here, and we're going to choose the 3 dots menu, and we're going to choose to do a bulk adjustment. Now, it's worth saying at this point, this is one of the pro features on Socket. So you might not be able to do a bulk adjustment if you're just on the core package, or it's not something you've taken out. So if you cannot access this, or this doesn't show, that's possibly why. So do check your subscriptions on that. What we're going to choose is start bulk adjustment. And then we need to give it a name. So I'll just call it Xero price increase September. Description if we want to. And then we need to choose which proposals we want to put in scope. So this is including active proposals starting on or before this month. So as we're in August, I'm going to choose August, because any proposals I'm going to create from September onwards will be included because they'll have my new pricing menu anyway. So I just need to fix everything else. And then the planned month for these minor adjustments, as my pricing doesn't go live until September, I'm going to have them change from September. Now, what it tells me here is the pricing menu that will be used is my brand new pricing menu, which is obviously what I want to do. Then we're going to click Find Proposals to adjust. Now, what you are then going to get is a number of proposals that are going to be included and excluded from this. Now, you can see there, a bunch of them have already been excluded, and I'll tell you for why. And some of them are obviously white and shown as included. Now, the ones that are red, Socket has automatically detected that these clients don't have a Xero subscription. And this is the reason they've been excluded is because the only service I've changed the price of is those 3 Xero subscription lines. There's no reason for them to receive any notification because their pricing is just staying as it is. If we were doing a bulk adjustment where we were doing a practice price increase and we were putting everything up by 2%, this would look different. But as we're just doing Xero, I've only got 29 of my clients that are going to be affected. If there's any that maybe I don't want to increase and there's a reason for that, I can actually tick and manually exclude those from that. But I'm going to leave all 29 in and I'm going to click on Draft Minor Adjustments. So what it's saying here is I'm about to draft 29. Adjustments and renewals don't carry over one-off charges. Any pending work stays on the original proposal. So all we're going to do here is make those changes for the 29 that have Xero subscriptions. So just give that a second while it prepares everything in the background. And what you can see here is it's outlined old monthly cost, new monthly costs, and it's showing any increases across those proposals. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go any further because I've got a few issues because this is just test data. But from here, what this will then allow me to do is set my introduction as if I was sending out a single minor adjustment and also configure the design elements of this minor adjustment. So what you could then do is create your own introduction and that introduction could just say, as per the Xero price increase, your prices are going up. And then when they get to that second screen on the minor adjustment, it will then show them individually how much that's going up by. And as that's the only price change, that's the only thing that's going to show on there. Obviously, if you have any trouble doing any of the steps we've looked at today, you can just reach out to our support team and we'd be more than happy to take you through that individually. But if we jump back to our slides now, so we've looked at step one. We need to get all of our clients into Socket. That's going to be a key part of this. And we then need to update the Xero services in our pricing menu. We've done those on those two on the demo we've just looked at. We do need to make sure our billing integration is connected. So if you are using Xero or QuickBooks, make sure that you are connected with that so that when we push your billing invoices through after the change, those changes will be affected. If you're still using Xero repeating invoices, making changes to the proposals in Socket won't affect those repeating invoices. So if you have any questions around how your billing looks currently, do get in touch and we can look at that on an individual basis. Any new proposals will pick up the prices automatically because if we actually go back to my Socket screen here, I've got that in effective from September. So if I'm starting a brand new proposal from September, that'll automatically be included. The second step, prove it. So this is where we can upload our Xero invoice. Does everyone have Xero as a line item on their proposal? If they don't, we may need to do some renewals and some changes. And we need to check there, do our current charges that we're billing right now actually match what is on our pricing menu? It might be that you missed your Xero price increase last year, so everyone's prices are off by a couple of pounds, in which case this is a perfect time to jump on board because we need to make sure they're in line with another increase that's happening this year. The price increases using price monitoring. This is something we can do again and again. So if things are changing, if people are maybe increasing Xero packages, we can upload that each month when we get our Xero subscription report to make sure we've not missed anything. And then we apply it in bulk. So the idea of bulk adjustments, is it will only affect the services that we've changed from one pricing menu to the next. This will apply to any active proposals with that review we've just looked at, where we can see each step as it's going through and it's identifying anyone that would be affected. Client comms are going to be built in. You'll have used minor adjustments before, potentially as part of your socket subscription. And minor adjustments are just multiplied over and over and over to create a bulk adjustment. So instead of doing them one at a time, it just allows you to go in one. So the client comms, what we send out to them is consistent with what you're familiar with in the minor adjustments. If there are any stragglers, anybody who's on maybe an older plan and you don't want to adjust a whole new pricing menu, because I know I've encountered a couple of our clients where they've got maybe some legacy pricing on some of their clients, and they just maybe want to tweak it by £1 or £2 and not put them on a whole new pricing system. That's what minor adjustments is still in place for, and you can just do those individually and just use custom processes or adjust those prices accordingly. Some of the questions that we hear most, I've noticed there hasn't been many in the chat, so hopefully that means I'm being very in depth with what I'm covering with you today. Billing dates. What if my billing cycle and Xero's effective date don't line up? That's okay. When you set your billing dates in Socket, you set it at a practice level, but then you can also override it at a client by client level. So if you normally bill everybody on the 1st of the month, but 1 or 2 clients are billed on the 27th of the month, that's okay. That's easy to be set, and you can change that. If you're not using socket billing, will this still work? So it will and it won't. It will allow you to do adjustments of all your proposals, so that the socket data that you've got there is correct and everybody's proposal shows you what you should be billing them. But if you are not using socket billing and you still do your billing in a different system, or you do Xero repeating invoices, it might not work. Now, I know some of you use the Excel sheet on your billing screen. So if we go to billing, where you can export this as an Excel file, you use that to actually fund your billing in a different system. That will still work, because obviously when you do your Excel export on a monthly basis, it will have the up-to-date information that we've done using minor and bulk adjustments. If you were still using Xero repeating invoices, it won't work, because you will have to then go and adjust all of your Xero repeating invoices manually so it reflects the new price increases. If you are still doing that, this might be the trigger to go, how does socket billing work? Can I switch over to this, because it sounds like it's going to be easier? If that is the case, reach out to us in support. Myself, Amy, any of the other members of the team would be more than happy to go through that with you, help you get set up using socket billing, and show you through the sort of benefits of using that. Only using some clients on socket. What's the minimum? So there is no minimum. If you've got clients on socket who you are billing Xero subscription charges for, you can use those. But obviously, if you've got 500 clients and you've only got 20 of them on socket, that's not going to benefit you, because you've still got another 480 that you're going to need to adjust manually and calculate what they should be on, what they shouldn't be on, how much am I increasing them by, will the next invoice be done? So again, this may be a bit of a kick for you guys to say, well, you know what, let's get all my clients on socket. If that is the case, do message us about our socket fast track. It's a new, I'm just checking. Oh, there we go. The next slide. Thank you. I just thought to myself, I'm sure there's a slide for that coming up. So yeah, moving your data using our socket fast track. You share the data to us. We then set everything up with your pricing, with your proposals, wherever the data is coming from, we can work with it. There may be a bit of back and forth depending on what information you have. And then that will actually fill in the blanks. So you can start using price monitor and you can start using bulk adjustments to ensure all your proposals are up to date. And then as part of our fast track, we do also generate a pricing health check report. And what this will do is just analyze all of that data we've just put in and try and spot some gaps at where you might be missing revenue, where you might be undercharging or overcharging people, based on our sort of audit of all of that. That's about everything we've got covered today with our bulk adjustments. We've obviously looked at, if we go back to the beginning, where we had these 3 simple steps, we've looked at getting set, we've looked at checking price monitoring for the pricing. Then we've also applied the changes to proposals. So I'm happy to stick around for another 5-10 minutes in case there's any questions. I know you've all been very quiet in the chat, so if there is anything you want to go through, don't hesitate to throw something in there, and we can answer it on the session itself. I'm just going to open up the Q&A as well in case anybody's put anything in there. I can't see anything coming in. I know we did have one earlier on why Xero memberships were increasing by £5. Honestly, that's something you need to ask Xero. I think it's become a bit of common practice where they're just putting prices up every year. Much like as a practice, you might put prices up by a small amount every year. I think somebody did link there the pricing update, so that might give you a bit more insight into why some of them have gone up. Can't see any other questions coming in. We'll leave the webinar live until dot on 12:30 because it was a 30-minute webinar today. So if you are still wanting to ask anything, I will stick around. Oh, there we go. I've not used Xero monitoring yet. How do you link each subscription to the client? So this is actually done automatically. If we go to our price monitoring screen, so this spreadsheet I just uploaded here from the file just had the client's names, because you'll have your Xero, so your Xero account and your Socket account are actually linked together. Client names will generally be consistent of, on my example here, Manchester City Limited, Skytrain Aviation, and so it will identify based on that client name. So it should automatically pick that up. As you can see where I'm hovering over here, it's been auto-matched by name. If there is anybody who is not auto-matched, we can actually say, well, this person here is this client, and we can manually link it if it doesn't. And then there's also saying some there that some have got a proposal, but they're not in my spreadsheet that I uploaded, and those are going to be the people that maybe don't have Xero. So it should auto-match them all, but you can also manually link them and map it to a Socket client there as well. I may have missed this, but where do you upload the Xero cost? Does it work out the price after discount? So you upload, what you would do is you'd log into Xero and you'd actually download your Xero subscription report from Xero. And then we click on Analyze Pricing and it's all uploaded here. I uploaded one just prior to the demo today, but this button here is Upload Spreadsheet, and that's just what you upload. As far as the discount, if you are discounting it in Xero, it will just show this is the price. I'm not sure. We might have. Let me get back to you on that one. I think there might have been an update where we do that, where we've fixed that recently. If you are discounting in Socket using the applied discount, then obviously that'll be taken into account because we know about that because it's on the proposal. So when you are doing pricing updates just for Xero, I can see a question that's just dropped in there. When you have an active pricing menu like this and you choose edit pricing, this will create a draft version of your current pricing menu. What we can do is just go down, locate Xero, and just adjust the pricing, which I've got drivers set up. I can just adjust the pricing there. When I then have done that and I hit publish changes, it publishes just those changes and everything else stays the same. To do that, so we'll close that one off because we've just covered this. At the moment, I invoice in QuickBooks. I have one line as monthly service fee. I want to get my client data. What's the best approach? So with regard to that, it's going to be a case of a bit of manual intervention if you've just got a one-liner and you don't split this out. There's no simple way of us splitting this out because we don't know what you charge for what services. It is going to be a bit of a repricing exercise where you're going to have to build out the proposals. We can certainly get the line data into Socket, so you're going to be billing that correct amount. But as far as the repricing, building your pricing menu is step one, because then you can identify what you're going to charge for each service, and then we can look at repricing those items. More than happy to go through that in a bit more detail if you want to contact support, and we can kind of look at how the best way to do this. So you've updated other lines you don't want to bulk adjust. I only want to adjust the Xero line. So yes, you can do that when you are applying the bulk adjustment. When you select when you want to apply prices from and which pricing menu you want to do. If you've updated pricing in several different tiers and you've got clients on loads of different tiers, there's not a way of doing this using bulk. Because bulk adjustments will just apply everything to your latest pricing menu. I know we have had some clients where they've got 4 or 5 different iterations of pricing, and it's going to be a manual adjustment if you do. Sorry, if it's going to be a minor adjustment on those, because you can't bulk adjust all clients, but then pick and choose which pricing, because that's not a bulk adjustment, that's an individual adjustment. So in that case, you'd be better off doing your minor adjustments. Can you add a discount percentage? Can you add a discount percentage for the different Xero subscriptions? I've put in the prices including discount. So what I would say is if you were going to discount Xero pricing, your pricing menu should reflect the full price. When you are then creating your proposal, which if I just go into one of them here, and you actually add on Xero as a service, I've got £40 a month there. You can use the more actions, apply discount, and that discount sits against that line item. That would be the best way of discounting the Xero subscription, because then on the proposal, it would show we have discounted it by this amount or this percentage. If you've done it directly in Xero, Socket wouldn't know whether that's a full price or whether that's a discount. So that's how you would need to do a discount on a line by line item. I want to bulk adjust on the 12-month anniversary. I think it might be worth reaching out to us in support with a bit more detail on that, as I'm not sure exactly what you mean with that. But when you do a bulk adjustment, you can set, as we looked at in the steps there, when you choose a bulk adjustment, you do choose the starting month for that bulk adjustment. So you don't have to do it straight away. You can do it on a particular date. If you've got queries there, whoever's just put there in the chat with drivers and your pricing menu, reach out to us about in support, because I feel like this might just end up being a back and forth. Otherwise, we can certainly help you with individual drivers and adjusting your pricing on a case-by-case basis. Is there a plan to allow customers to bulk adjust one line of a proposal rather than the entire thing? This allows you to do that, the bulk adjustment. But as I mentioned, if you've done 4 or 5 different iterations of pricing, you can't bulk adjust on just one line, because you've potentially made adjustments on 3 or 4 different lines, or all the lines, or several lines on your different iterations of pricing. If you've got one set pricing everybody's on and you just make the adjustments as we've shown today, then it will bulk adjust on just those lines. But if you've got several different iterations of pricing, then it won't, because Socket obviously doesn't know which pricing it's going to be going ahead with. But again, if you've got queries on your individual scenario, do reach out to us on support and we can look at that. I think that seems to be everything that we've had coming through. Apologies if I have missed everyone and there's been questions coming in. That is what you've got the in-app support for. If you click on the support bubble and then messages, you can send us a message directly with any questions or queries you've got, and happy to go through those individually. We have run over a bit, so apologies if I've put you behind for your next meetings. We will send a recording out for everything we've covered today to everyone who's attended, and I'm sure I'll catch up with you all very soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.